Hi there, I'm Dr. Rose, and I'm truly happy to be here again, sitting in front of the camera, having this conversation with you about something that deep down I believe every one of us asks ourselves as we step into our 60s. Can I still feel alive, joyful, and connected, even in the most intimate parts of life, the way I once did? Have you ever felt that way? One of my longtime patients, Frank, he's 67 now, once told me during a quiet checkup, "Doc, I'm not tired. I just don't feel like myself anymore." That sentence didn't describe any clear medical symptom, but after working with people over 50 for more than 2 decades, I understood exactly what he meant. He was talking about something more subtle, the quiet fading of vitality. This isn't really about illness or even aging. It's about that strange emptiness, that feeling that something is missing, something that used to make you feel excited to wake up in the morning. But here's the good news. That feeling, it's not the end. It's just your body's gentle way of saying, "Hey, it's time to take care of me," in a new way. You see, our bodies in our 60s aren't weaker. They're just different. They operate differently. And the beautiful part is we can adapt. We can tune in. We can even renew ourselves. Today, I want to introduce you to a few small but powerful allies, essential nutrients, simple natural tools that can help rekindle the spark you thought was gone, from physical energy to emotional and intimate connection. And no, I'm not talking about magic pills or anti-aging hype. I've never believed in that. I'm talking about nutrients your body actually needs, backed by science, and more importantly, by the real experiences of people I've worked with. So let me paint a picture. Imagine waking up one morning without that usual heaviness. You step out into the garden, the morning sun kisses your skin, and for a moment, you feel present, fully there in your own life, not just surviving the day, but truly living it, with energy, with joy, with those deep inner stirrings you thought were gone long ago. So what can help you get back to that place? Let's start with the first nutrient, zinc. Now picture this. There's a man, around 65, still gets up early, tends his little garden behind the house, but lately something feels different. His energy's off, but he can't quite say why. His sleep's fine, he eats okay, and his health checkups don't show anything serious. Still, that spark, that feeling of drive, especially in his intimate life, it's just not there like it used to be. That's usually when I ask gently, "Have you ever had your zinc levels checked?" Sounds simple, right? But over the years, I've seen how a lack of zinc can quietly drain a person's vitality, especially in men over 60. Zinc is a small mineral with a huge job. Yes, it helps your immune system and wound healing, but more than that, it's a critical part of producing testosterone, the hormone tied to energy, desire, drive, and that natural sense of masculinity. When your body doesn't get enough zinc, it's not that you're broken, it's just that your system doesn't have the right fuel. One study from Wayne State University found that older men who got enough zinc had significantly higher testosterone levels than those who were deficient. That translates to more energy, better mood, and, yes, a renewed sense of confidence in their private lives. I had a patient named Robert, age 70. After a few months of adjusting his diet and adding a little zinc, carefully under supervision, he told me during a follow-up, "I don't just feel better, I feel like myself again." And that is exactly what I hope for you. So where can you get zinc? I'll share more on that in a moment. But just remember, sometimes what you need isn't a big change. It's simply giving your body what it's been quietly asking for. I want you to think back to a recent morning. You woke up, opened your eyes, and just lay there for a while. Not because you were still sleepy, not because of any pain exactly. You just didn't feel like there was a reason to get up right away. That feeling, kind of sluggish, unmotivated, can come from many things. But one of the most common quiet culprits I see in people over 60 is a vitamin B12 deficiency. B12 is a water-soluble vitamin. Sounds small, right? but it plays a huge role in helping your body make red blood cells, which carry oxygen to every corner of your body, your muscles, your brain, even the parts of you tied to emotion and intimacy. I once joked with a patient, if your body were a car, B12 would be the spark plug. You can have a full tank of gas, but if the spark's not there, the engine won't start. And it's true. When your B12 is low, you might not just feel tired. You may feel foggy, unfocused, or even disconnected from your own sense of joy and desire. A lot of people mistake those signs for just getting older. But really, your body might just be waiting for the right kind of fuel. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that 1 in 5 people over 60 have a B12 deficiency. Why, Mo? Because as we age, our stomachs often stop producing enough acid to absorb B12 from food properly. One of my patients, Elaine, she's 68, came in because she kept forgetting little things and would sometimes just zone out mid-conversation. After testing and getting her B12 levels back up, she came back smiling. I feel like someone flipped the switch back on, doctor. And that's exactly what I hope you'll experience too. You can find B12 in meat, fish, eggs, and dairy, or in fortified foods if you're vegetarian. But whether it's through diet or supplements, the key is knowing what your body's asking for and giving it the quiet support it needs at just the right time. Because sometimes all it takes is a little spark to remind you that your inner fire never really went out. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly relaxed? I don't mean lying back in front of the TV or flipping through the newspaper. I mean that deep, grounded kind of calm. When your mind goes quiet, your heartbeat slows down, and you suddenly realize, I'm breathing deeply. I feel still. Many of my patients, especially after 60, tell me they can't quite remember that feeling anymore, not because they're overly stressed, but because their bodies just don't self-regulate like they used to. This is when I often bring up a forgotten friend, magnesium. It's a small mineral, but plays a huge role as your body's emotional and biological stabilizer. Magnesium helps relax your muscles, steady your heartbeat, and, most importantly, calm your nervous system. As we age, our systems get more sensitive. Sleep isn't as deep, moods swing more easily, and we feel overstimulated at times. Magnesium acts like a gentle anchor, keeping everything from drifting too far off course. A study published by the National Institutes of Health showed that older adults with magnesium deficiency are more likely to experience sleep issues, anxiety, even high blood pressure. And I've seen this play out time and again. There was a patient of mine, Michael, 72 years old, who kept waking up at night with a racing heart. He'd tried everything: new mattress, turning off screens, even cutting caffeine, but nothing really helped until we tested his magnesium levels. Once we adjusted his diet and added a little supplementation, things started settling down. A month later, he looked at me with a deep breath and said, "I'm not just sleeping better, I feel like I can slow down and live again." Magnesium is found in everyday foods, dark leafy greens like spinach, beans, almonds, bananas, even good quality dark chocolate. And sometimes just a small shift in your meals is enough to make a real difference. I've always believed this. The answer isn't always to go faster. Sometimes what your body truly needs is a gentle break, to slow down, to go deeper, to live more fully, and magnesium. It might just be that gentle break for those who are ready to listen to the true rhythm of their life. I want you to imagine this for a moment. It's morning. You step out onto your porch holding that familiar cup of coffee. The sunlight lands gently on your shoulders, not harsh, just warm enough to soothe whatever thoughts still linger from the night. You close your eyes for a few seconds and feel like you're really there. Now, I'm not painting some romantic scene here. I'm talking about vitamin D, that quiet kind of sunshine your body seriously needs, especially after 60. Here's the thing. When we're younger, our skin produces vitamin D quite easily with just a little sun exposure. But after 50, that ability fades slowly but surely. And at some point, even if you're still walking outside every morning, your body might be running low on that inner light. Yes, we all know vitamin D helps keep bones strong. But what many people don't realize is it also plays a big role in regulating testosterone in men, directly affecting energy drive, even intimacy. I once worked with a patient, James, 66 years old, who told me, "Everything's fine, doc, but I don't feel much excitement for, well, anything, not even with my wife." A blood test showed he was very low in vitamin D, so we adjusted his routine, added a supplement, got him out in the sun more often, and in just 2 to 3 months, he came back smiling, both relieved and surprised. "I don't just feel better, I feel like I've found my rhythm again." Science backs this up too. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that men with higher levels of vitamin D tend to have higher testosterone and report less fatigue and low mood. So where do you get it? Simple morning sunlight, salmon, mackerel, eggs, fortified milk, and if needed a supplement, usually around 600 to 800 IU daily. For older adults, check with your doctor, of course. But more important than the numbers is this feeling more awake, more present, more connected to your own body. I often tell my older patients, we don't need to chase youth, we just need to keep our inner light switched on. And vitamin D, quiet as it is part of that light. There's a story I love sharing with my patients. One time during a group session, I asked, if your body were a house, what part would you protect the most? One older man answered right away, the roof, because without it, the storms come pouring in. A woman chimed in softly, the heart, because it keeps everything alive. Both are true. But then I asked, okay, but who protects the house quietly every day from time and wear and tear? That's when I brought up vitamin E. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant. That means it protects your cells from damage, from time, from stress, from the things you've eaten, breathed in, or lived through. But more than that, it helps with circulation, which is closely tied to sexual function in both men and women. In men, better blood flow can mean better erections. In women, it can lead to more natural arousal and sensitivity. One study in the Journal of Urology even found that men with ED due to low vitamin E saw real improvements in performance and energy once their levels were corrected. But let's be clear, vitamin E isn't a stimulant. It doesn't create some artificial feeling. It helps your body return to its natural state, one you may have forgotten was even possible. I had a patient once, Linda, 64, who told me that after a while of taking vitamin E, not only was her hair shinier and skin less dry, but her emotional connection with her husband started to light back up again. You'll find vitamin E in almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, broccoli, vegetable oils. The recommended amount is about 15 milligrams per day, but more important than the dose is learning to listen to your body. Fun fact, when vitamin E was first discovered back in the 1920s, it was nicknamed the fertility vitamin. And honestly, that still holds true not just for biology, but for emotions. It brings back joy, closeness, and a feeling that you still matter deeply. I want you to remember this. Turning 60 isn't the end of your story. It's just the next chapter in your book. And you absolutely have the right to write it with clarity, energy, and self-respect. I've worked with hundreds of people aged 50 to 80 each with their own unique story. Some came to me tired, some confused, some just curious. But the one thing they all shared, hope. Even if just a flicker, it was always there. And when you start paying attention to what your body needs, even with something as simple as the right nutrients, things begin to change, not in some loud, dramatic way, but gently, like cool water flowing again through dry soil. Zinc helps you stay strong and masculine. B12 sparks your inner energy. Magnesium keeps your emotions in balance. Vitamin D wakes up your vitality and connection. Vitamin E shields you from the quiet wear and tear of time. But remember, no single vitamin is magic. They only work when combined with a fuller life. good sleep, healthy meals, light movement, connection with loved ones, and most of all, a strong connection with yourself. You don't need to become your 30-year-old self again. You just need to become the clearest, healthiest, most meaningful version of who you are now. And if you're wondering where to start with dinner tonight, a bit of salmon, a handful of almonds, some leafy greens, and a small but solid decision. Because living well and feeling joyful, it's not far away. It's one choice away. If today's message struck a chord with you, even just a little, leave me a comment below. Where are you tuning in from? Have you ever tried any of these nutrients? Or maybe, what's one thing that makes you feel alive and well? These days I read every comment, and believe me, your story might just be the light someone else out there needs to hear. And if you'd like to keep walking this path of living well after 50, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I've got so much more to share with real experiences, practical tips, and the most honest advice I can give. Because I truly believe it's never too late to start living better. See you in the next video.